Hello, welcome back. I hope you all had a safe break we had last week. Now back to study. Today we're on week 11. We're going to be talking about personal finances. Oh, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is a fully online class, Introduction to Business, offered by the College of Lake County, utilizing Blackboard course management system. Okay, now let's go back. What we're going to talk about today is personal finance, or what we're going to do week 11 is chapter D or chapter 21, depends on which version of the book, whether you had the hard copy of the book or the electronic version of the book or the e-book. So it's chapter D, personal finance. Because the last few chapters we're going to be talking about is going to be accounting, finance, banking, and stocks and bonds and everything else. But to start off with, I just want to make sure we start off at a level plane. So if you understand your own personal finances, you're really a chief financial officer. You have to get a credit card. You have to take a loan out to buy a house or a car, or even to fund for your education. You're looking at do I sell assets? Do I buy assets? How do I reduce my tax burden? And legally, I mean, do I take my excess money and either convert it into some kind of treasury bonds that may be protected. So all this that you're doing right now from your personal finances is similar to how you'd be approaching your business finances, whether you're opening up your own business or whether you are a manager or a team leader and you have your own a budget and which you will look at your expenses and your income coming in. Okay, so let's go now this week. So remember, I'm going to start all over since you had a little break last week. So now you got to get your mind like an exercise as you relax. And I was the same way like you. I had to go back now. I'm back into the work mode. I took a little break off. Okay, so is week 11, personal finances. This week you're going to have your chapter 3, an exam. So let's go. Chapter 3 exams from chapters 13 to 16, multiple choice. And I think it's from marketing all the way to promotions, multiple choice, 50 questions. Little different than the last two exams we were doing where you had some essays and you had like 25 questions and there were 2 points and you had some essay questions that you responded. I'm preparing you now for this exam 3 and I think exam 4 before the final exam. The final exam is going to be all multiple choice. It's going to be 100 questions. It's going to be covering all the chapters that we covered except chapters 11 and 12 because that's just omitted from the book that the College of Lake County was utilizing to get the discount for the Connect and also for the book. So it'll be 100 questions, and that'll be the final exam. Now, the final exam is more of a final exam that will be similar to other people maybe taking this course. Okay, so, but I want to prepare you now, so you're going to have more than enough time. I think I give you about the same amount of time as you would for the final exam, which is controlled by the college. But it's going to be 50 questions, each worth 1 point. And they're going to be in order from chapter 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay? And the exam will be open according to this after Wednesday, and it'll be open till Saturday. So anytime between that time period, click on after Wednesday, I think midnight or noon, I forgot what I had it set up on there. You'll be able to take the exam. Make sure you're prepared not only academically but psychologically that everything's going well. I could do well on the exam. Always positive. I'll do better on this exam than I did last exam. Always positive thinking. Don't come on there and thinking I'm going to do poorly. Then you usually will do poorly. So remember, positive thinking. Okay, so now you got the exam. Now the discussion board, you have two things with the discussion board. First of all, I want you to go into this financial health tool. You're going to have questions on the discussion board looking at personal finance, student loans. I want you to do more research. The researching I'm helping you now is to research not only for your paper, but also how to research how on your own personal finances, how to either get out of debt or do I use the government for financial aid or do I use the private entity like Wells Fargo or Citibank that also provides student loans. There's some advantages, remember? So the thing you're doing now, what I want you to learn, preparing for finance and accounting going forward, you have to be able to understand where the money's coming in and where the money is going out. And the money going out, I want to make sure that if I'm spending money, I get the biggest return on that investment. If I'm paying for my expenses, for bills, am I getting the best deal, or am I paying more than what I really need for my expenses? All of these are things that you're evaluating constantly in your day-to-day expenses, and now you just amplify that with more zeros, more numbers, more activities in the business, but you still have to be able to understand both the income coming in or sales and also the expenses to get your product or services to your consumer. So let's start it from the consumer end, where you're going to be looking at your own personal finances. How do I buy a new car? Do I buy or lease a car? Do I buy a house or condominium, or do I rent, or what do I do with an option to buy? What are my avenues? Do I take a 401 from my employer? Do I invest in an IRA, individual retirement account? Which one? What do I do? How much do I spend for health insurance? What is going on with the health insurance? You got Obamacare, and you've got the new GOP, or what they call it, the Trump care, that's not coming in. So there's some question marks in there. How do I prepare? How do I buffer? And the businesses have to do the same thing. Okay, so let's look at the discussion board. So before you go under, you'll be answering those questions. But I want you to first to take an inventory of your own personal finances to understand. So you're going to come into this financial tool help. Remember, that's a link. Remember, this is just another. So you answer my questions when you go into your into the discussion board. And then you basically, on one of the link, create a new thread and say, hey, I got a B on this grade. So here I think you have to be at least 25. So if you're not 25, pretend you're 25. And, look at your regular income. Let's say I'm making a 25. I'm making, or what am I making now? I'm a college student. Maybe I'm making 35,000. Not really much. It's about, and average, you're going full-time to school. You're doing this. You're working part-time. Let's look at that, okay? So you're going to go in there. And now you're going to say how much you for rent. And you're going to say, because this is how the bank is looking at you when you're going for a loan or for anything else. You're going to say how much you're paying rent. And they're looking at, they know you have to pay so much for rent. They know you have to have so much for insurance. You know you have to have so much for checking, so much for food, so much for other activity. The money you have left over, you're going to say, okay, could he or she afford the car? Could he or he afford the mortgage payment? If it's only for rent, and it's the same thing with when you're going for a rented apartment to look at this. So let's see a house payment. Okay, Lake County, I don't know, let's figure about $1,200. Right? You can find lower end, but it's anywhere from 1,000 to something else. So I enter that, and I'm only making this. And what's it going to tell me? Careful, I'm already spending too much. So they're looking for this thing. So let's see if I go back here and let's see. I'm looking at. So what do I think I can afford? What would it be a comfortable according to the bank? I say $900. Enter, and still too much. So when I this one, what kind of house can I get? What am I looking for? $600. I enter. What do I got? Congratulations. If you could find a place for $600, it could be just a studio apartment. Right now, that's all you need. You don't need a big thing. You're always at school, you're at work, or everything else. You just need a place to hang your head, go to sleep, eat something, bring a few friends over, but you're not entertaining. You don't have the time. So $600 is fine. Once you move out and you've got more time, more disposable time. We're looking from a business. I'm looking at disposable income. You're looking at disposable time. Then they'll get the $1,200 apartment. But then hopefully you're making more. Do you see how I'm going? So put the real number that you're paying now or what you anticipate. Okay, and then you go next. And so now this one, how much you think you owe on credit cards, debt, and everything else? So this is how much your monthly debt, including mortgages, loan, and everything else. Okay, so you figure my debt, like the mortgage, I already got $600, so I'm figuring on that. I don't know. Let's figure about. I figure about $700. And I could add on there. Up, congratulations, your debt's under control. That's really only for my apartment for $600 and $100 to live on. But in reality, what about my credit cards? What if I put in, like most people have, maybe $1,000? And what does it tell me? You're still good. So you know how much debt you could have. Now you put a car payment, Try to be fair, and then you're gonna get a score. So okay, so I'm gonna go next. Emergency saving. I'm not gonna go through this. You're gonna get a score. It's gonna come out and it's gonna say you get an A, B, C, and D. All your posts I got an A, and then in there on your reflection you say, hey, I agree with this, or what should I do to change this? All I'm trying to do on it, and then you post that into one of your forums. Now let's go into your discussion board. Okay, so what do we have on our discussion board? The discussion board. Remember, you got the exams. I'm giving you a little light work. No homework or anything else. So here you've got the discussion board, but then I want you to answer these questions here that I got in here. Okay, so I'm looking at do an internet search on articles on credit cards. What's happening with credit cards? There was a lot of changes back a few years ago underneath the Obama administration to protect the credit the consumer. What were some of the rules? How much has it changed? How much are the fees? Am I getting a good break now? What's my interest rates? What's going on? Now if I'm looking at the for personal business, now look at credit cards and credit for a business. Remember, you're trying to take both. Mostly going to be opening up a business or working for a business. Right now, look at your financing and see what kind of credit card. Though you're getting the best deal. Should you drop the credit cards? What are the charges? What are your rights? Okay, now what happens if you have to go bankruptcy? What are some? So do some research and post it in the subject area. Research bankruptcy laws. Student debt cancellation or new student loans requirement, whatever is on there. Post something here. What I want to do is I don't want to be. I gave you a lot of things to post, other than the CNI and everyone posted. Post something that you'll find that no one else posted, and it's something that's important to you. You're doing some research. Also, look at down the road when you're looking at businesses. To the business, your credit score. What does the credit score mean? How do I reduce my credit score? And then I'm looking at, is the credit score for my personal asset as an individual similar to if I'm running a business? If I'm a corporation, do they have a similar credit score, or do they use a different credit score? Post this in and say, business credit score, here's the number, here's the instrument they use. That's how we were learning in this class, remember? And you get this stuff going. So now this is more of like an open forum to help you on your own business, own personal understanding or areas to research, and hopefully some of that research you could tie into your business venture going forward. Because the next few chapters we're going to be doing, the next chapter we're going to start doing accounting. Accounting is basically very structured. You're going to have to come up with an average cost for your product. If one customer comes in, how much he or she's going to pay for your product, and we'll come up with an income statement and a balance sheet and maybe a cash flow. Remember, and remember, don't freak out. Go, oh my God, I don't know what to do and all that stuff. This is an introduction class. You're going to do your best guess at it. I'm looking how do you understand conceptually, not as much as the numbers, but try to make the numbers kind of come out. Here, look at your personal finances. Understand your own personal finance. When you understand your personal finance, you'll be able to understand. And for some of you, this is the first time you look at your personal finances. And you want to run a company, you want to be a manager or a leader in a company, you have to do a budget. So you have to understand, where do these numbers come? How do I change something? How do I make my my credit score better? How do I get money for my student loans? Does the student loans allow me to buy books? If I'm doing it for the federal, I get so much money. Or is it a student loan strictly for the class? Or does it allow me to use my car or buy a car with the excess money that I'm getting from a student loan to get to and back from college? Those are very good questions. Those are everything else you're going into finance to understand the terms and condition of the loan. As a personal person, do I take a student loan or do I take a grant? Sometimes we get grants to help us through our schooling. Grants, as long as you get your B and maintain a certain requirement of the grant, you don't have to pay it back. A student loan, yes, you have to pay it back. What are the rates? Don't only look at the interest rate. The interest rates are hooks to get you in there. Look at the terms and condition. What happens? I got a low interest rate on a credit card. They got me with zero interest rate. Is that good? Fine. What happens the first time I miss a payment? Does it jump out from 0 to 5%, or does it jump up from 0 to the max? And it won't come down till I have a whole year of good credit history, paying on time and not being late. Those are the things that a chief financial officer looks at. The credit, the interest rates, the cash. Do I borrow or do I sell, or do I bring another partner in, like an apartment? I can't afford $600. What do I get for $600 room? I want a little more room. I bring in another person to lease with me. So now I have two people, 600, 600, 1200. I get a nice apartment. I only need my room. He or she has the room, and then we got a common kitchen, a common area, and we're doing pretty good. And I'm living a little bit higher, and I got a little more, swimming pool, whatever thing. I need more expensive. I drink three, but then I need a three-bedroom apartment. But you see how you're thinking? Now the same thing happens when I'm in business. Do I buy? Do I lease? Or what do I do? Okay, so that's it for this week. So this week is pretty good. Welcome back, and you'll do well. Look at the credit score; is kind of nice. Look at the forums. Look, select a few posts. Research the subject area. Try to get some information in. And the whole thing is, remember, coming to school is not just going for the exams, like I told you before. Look at the forums. It's not a chore. The forums are a way of you expressing your ideas to other people who have similar likes or dislikes or have similar goals and objectives. And now I'm learning. I don't have to do everything they tell me, but I'm getting all the perspectives. So when I do make my decision, do I buy a car, do I lease a car, do I rent, or do I take a mortgage out, depending on how long I'm going to stay, depending on the term and conditions, all those are things that you are going to be researching here, and we're going to be discussing this forum, and then you'll have your exam tree. Again, welcome back. I'm glad you're all back. I'm smiling. I'm relaxed. I got to get back into this mode just like you do. So I'll see you in the discussion board or the slash forum. I use those terms interchangeably. Okay. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Introduction to Business 121, offered by the College of Lake County, fully online, week 3. This is a quick overview. When you go into Blackboard, make sure you look into the full lecture that I have. That's an hour and 10 minutes just talking about personal finances, and it mirrors what the author is presenting with you, mirrors the Connect integrative LearnSmart software, and it, for lack of better words, also kind of follows along with the PowerPoints and the other resources that are provided in this course through the publisher and through the College of Lake County. And I'll see you in the forum. My name is Dr. George. Bye.